priority in order of 1 to 10, 1 being the best and 10 being the worst in order of capital results. It is merely we have the definition in front of us, and we need to score that capital request so that we know which one better meets the needs of our community. Okay, I think we're ready to go now?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Fenton. Fenton.
Here.
Whitus. Here. Buckley.
Here.
Pinkley.
Here.
Yancey.
Here.
Romine.
Here.
Denham. Here. Milton.
Here.
Dobbins.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Hey, Jamie.
Yes,
You're up.
thank you. Can we get the results put back up on the screen, please?
Yeah. The maps.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we went through a lot the other day, and we're going to finish today. One of the things I want to make sure that we get to is the governance results. So we're probably more than halfway through the community results, which is good. So as I said earlier, we're on infrastructure and environment. That is our goal. And I think they will get the results maps put up there for you all to see, but do you all have your copy of that as well? Okay. Remember, it develops public infrastructure at a pace that supports the population growth and at a rate that allows the city to provide sufficient services without a financial burden. That's one of the definitions. Okay. There you go. Can we make that bigger by any chance? Full screen? There you go. Okay. So do y'all need a minute to look over this? Or are we ready to go? Ready to go. Okay.
Alderman Fenton needs a minute.
You need a minute? Okay.
Alderman Fenton, he's on economic development. Oh, there you go.
Okay, so this is for the Parks and Rec Department. We are on program number 2238, pool grate replacement. The grading system that surrounds the Branson Aquaplex is in need of replacement. And we've talked about what the description of these capital requests mean. So if y'all need me to go back over that again, please let me know. But what do y'all think in terms of the infrastructure and environment? How does the pool grate replacement apply to the definitions given to us? Infrastructure and environment, pool grate replacement. What do y'all think?
One, because it delivers a safe, clean water supply for the pool.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything else? Michael?
0.
0. Cody?
0.
0.
0.
Most, we have 2 ones, and the rest seem to be zeros. So, 0 it is.
Oh, man.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Okie dokie.
Good cider.
My kids are adults.
The next one is the athletic field lighting improvements, Parks and Rec, and we're looking at infrastructure and environment. How does the athletic field lighting improvement meet the needs of infrastructure and environment, or does it? What do y'all think?
I think it increases the energy efficiency and the use of renewable energy by replacing those bulbs with
That would be my question.
at least a 1.
Yeah, they more energy efficient, be different type of lighting.
But
Cindy, are these more energy efficient lightings or just lighting? Okay. Is that helpful? You need Cindy to come up here?
No, I'm just curious,
Yeah.
is this tied to funding the LED lighting? I think that the way I read it is, because it says at this point, LED lighting continues to be cost prohibitive. So is this request for LED, or is it?
No, it's just to replace the bulbs. So we did that
Exactly.
about, I can't remember,
That's
10 years
correct.
ago. And so they start diminishing. And so you have a number of foot candles, like if you're an infielder or outfielder, so you just have to keep that up. We hope to one day replace it with LED, and it's come down a lot, but it's still about like almost 300 grand or something like that.
Exactly. Thank you.
Zero.
So 0 for me.
0. Okay.
Sorry, Cindy. We'll catch you on the next round.
Okay, so remember, this is just merely scoring against the results. This doesn't have anything to do with being ugly to departments. Just let's keep on track. So, okay, replacement flooring at the Recplex. Remember, this is the vinyl flooring in the lobby and the hallways. What do y'all think? 0? Okay. How about the fire engine for the fire department? Project supports the purchase of a fire engine for Fire Station number 4 that's been planned. How does this meet the needs of that fire engine?
I gave it a 1 only because of the top bubble there.
That develops public infrastructure at a pace that supports the population growth and at a rate that allows the city to provide sufficient services without a financial burden?
Yes, that was, I gave it a 1 for that.
Okay, does anybody else have any other thoughts? I was a 0. 0? Everybody agree with a 0? Okay. Majority, 0, sorry. Okay, Fire Station 3 driveway replacement, what do y'all think? Infrastructure and environment, does that apply or not?
Well, it develops public infrastructure at a pace that supports our population growth.
The driveway, the replacement of the driveway does?
Oh, that's not fire station. Oh, sorry, forgive me.
That's
I thought
okay.
that was 4. I can't read.
The Fire Station 3 driveway replacement, this is the replacement of the front driveway for Fire Station 3. I would give it a 0. Okay. Does anybody else have any other thoughts? Everybody's a 0? All right, let's keep moving. Online reporting software for the police department. Remember, this allows the citizens to report the crimes online. What do y'all think? Does that support infrastructure and environment? And if so, to what level? 0? Okay. Next one is the patrol vehicle replacements.
0.
0. Okay. Next one is the SWAT operator equipment.
0.
Anybody else have anything else? Nope,
0.
0. Okay. How about the ballistic protection for firefighters?
0.
0. Fire Station 2 remodel? 1.
I gave that a 1 also.
A 1. Everybody, 1. And just because I'm curious, why did you give it a 1?
Top.
The top one? Okay, I can see that. Anybody else? Okay, 1. Next one is paint hazardous materials. And that trailer, the painting of the trailer for the hazardous materials.
0.
Okay. And about the asphalt paver, the next one.
0.
Okay. Anybody else have any other thoughts?
Wouldn't that cover that top box?
Yeah, you're maintaining your infrastructure.
Okay.
I had a 1.
A 1? Okay. I have 4 or 5 1s. Does everybody agree with a 1? Okay. All right. The next one is the replacement of the pedestrian crossing, by the Presley's Theater. For infrastructure and environment, what do y'all think? Does it apply? Does it meet the needs? And if so, to what level? A 1 for the top one? Anybody else? See anything else?
I'm a 0.
0?
I'm a 1.
0?
1.
Okay, I have 2 1s. Does anybody else think 1? 3 1s? This is kind of fun. Okay. Sorry, zeros have it. Majority rules. Okay. CID maintenance building. Infrastructure and environment. What do y'all think on that one? It's a maintenance building for the housing of the equipment and the supplies for the 76 Entertainment Community Improvement
I
District.
think the building itself's a 0.
A 0, and yeah,
It'll continue.
Right.
Regardless, it just makes it more efficient.
yes. Okay, good answer, thank you. Okay, the next one is the pedestrian crossing for Shepherd of the Hills.
0.
0. And then the next one is the rebuilding of the Meadows intake pump, number 2. Infrastructure and environment, what do y'all think on that one? Okay. Anybody else?
3.
3?
I gave it a 3.
3,
Two.
okay,
I'll go 2.
I was a 2.
okay.
He's
All right.
good with a 2.
We have 2 3s, the rest 2s. Okay, we'll go with 2. All right. How about the next one, to rebuild the 2 Compton Drive influent pumps?
Two.
2?
2.
Everybody agree? Okay. How about the next one? To replace the sledge truck,
2.
2.
2.
okay?
2.
2.
Okay, the next one, okay, are we moving on then? Okay, so just so I'm clear, we're on the rebuilding of the Compton Drive pumps?
Yes.
Okay, and y'all said 2? Does anybody else have any other thoughts? No? All right. Okay. The portable generator for the utilities department. Kendall spoke on it the other day. It's a number 2 for most, everybody? Everybody? Okay. All right. How about the utility truck? The 0. Okay. And then the Walmart water tower is repair and renovation of the water tower. How does that apply to the infrastructure and environment definitions we've been given?
Safe, clean water supply.
Okay, what else?
It protects its water resources in order to maintain the water quality of streams,
Yes.
aquifers, and all that.
Anybody else?
Helps with the public
So-
infrastructure.
Do y'all give it a 3 or a 2 or what?
I like 3.
Kendall question. Kendall, did you say, you don't have to get up, did you say that in your explanation that pieces are falling off of it? Off the water tower? Okay, does that create any hazard for the public at all? No? Thank you.
Unless they try to climb on it.
Well, yeah, okay, given that. Yeah,
Okay, what do y'all think, scoring-wise?
2 for me.
2? Okay, everybody thought that, all right. Fire Station 4 construction, infrastructure and environment, how does that meet the needs of this goal and definitions?
1.
I said 1.
A 1, I've seen several of those. Everybody agree? Okay. All right, moving on. The next one for infrastructure and environment is the replacement of the
There's a
portable restroom.
Here's our potty again.
Happy Monday. Portable restroom, Parks and Rec. What do y'all think? Infrastructure and environment.
I gave
I
that
give it
a
a
1.
10.
Yeah, I give it a 1. We've thought about it a lot over the last, since the last
I
time.
went and checked my portable toilet, my outhouse at the farm out, and, you know,
I gave it a 1, and for number 2, so the second bubble on the left. Yeah, number 2, yeah. Number 1, number 2 is, yeah, I gave it a 1.
Okay, so what was the score?
Give it a 2.
A 2, okay. Does everybody agree with a 2?
I gave it a 2.
Okay, all right. And anybody want to tell me why it was a 2? I'm not questioning, I just want to know. I'm interested in what y'all are seeing.
It ensures air quality, number 1.
It also protects the waterway. I hate to say this, but
Okay.
Protects the water.
Well, yeah, that's a good one, yes, okay. So 2 is it? 2 it is. All right, the next one is the replacement of the fire panel in the Parks and Rec.
0.
0. Does everybody else agree with that? Okay. How about the next one, the replacement truck? 0. Okay. And the next one is the soccer goals, infrastructure and environment, 0. Okay, the next one is the snowplow.
0.
Okay. The next one is the HEPA filters, the police. What do y'all think? 0. Okay. The next one is the protective gear for the police department.
0.
Okay. The next one is the traffic signal improvements. Public Works, infrastructure and environment. What do y'all think? 0. Okay. Anybody else?
One.
I like a 1.
Okay, so I have 3 ones. Anybody else?
One more 1, come on.
Stan, you're a 1?
I'll be a 1.
I'm good.
Okay. Well,
Okay
no.
with 1. I just
Okay.
think it's a 0.
Excellent.
0, 1. Okay, so most of everybody had a 1. Does anybody else have anything different? Okay, we'll go with 1. It's fine. Okay, water line rehab for the neighborhoods. What do y'all think? Infrastructure and environment.
I had a 2 on
I
this one.
had 2 on that also.
A 2? Anybody else have anything different? Okay, and on that one, what did y'all think? As far as a 2, which ones did it meet? Which definitions?
Texas Water Resources,
Okay,
fewer breaks. And it also ensures it helps to develop the infrastructure, the public.
okay, all right. So we said 2. And then Spring Creek Water Main? 2, same reason. Okay, and then the next one is the John Deere Gator for the Utilities Department, Infrastructure and Environment, 0. Okay, and then the next one was the Ford F-150. 0. Okay, so that completes infrastructure and environment definition. The next one is the land use. So I'll give you just a second to review those definitions if you would like. Y'all ready to go? Okay. First one, top of the list for land use, Public Works. And just so y'all know, it's the purple, in case you didn't see that. All right, so the first one is the 2002 Chevrolet flatbed, the replacement of, for Public Works.
0.
0, okay. The next one is the advanced metering infrastructure for utilities for land use. Does that apply?
I
If
gave it a
not?
1 for ensures that the amount of location in commercial and industrial land as well as the necessary infrastructure is adequate to attract and serve needs of potential new industries. This
Okay,
kind of ties to
that makes sense to me. Anybody else? So would you give it a 1, Michael?
Yeah, 1.
Okay. What does everybody else think? A 1?
I'd
Okay.
say a 1. I think it also covers the environmental stewards, protects natural system, and promotes sustainable development.
Yeah, I think so too. So does that mean it's a 2 then? Or do you stick with a 1? What do y'all think? It's up to y'all.
I'm with 2.
A 2?
I'll go 2.
Okay. Cody, you're a 2?
Thank you, Cody.
Okay. Is everybody okay with a 2? All right, let's do it a 2. Okay, the next one is the Compton Drive flood protection. And this is for land use. What do y'all think? How does that apply? And if so, what level does it apply to?
I gave that one a 2. And I used ensures the amount, yeah, same on land use, let's see,
Also,
as
it's,
well, and then ensure
Environmental
future
stewards.
development.
yeah, and
Yeah.
environmental stewards protects
Exactly.
its natural system. Promotes
Okay. So what score?
2.
2.
2. I think everybody agrees with that. Okay. The next one is the GPS unit for the water system for utilities. In regards to land use, what do y'all think?
Give it a 0.
0? Anybody else?
I gave it a 1 because it ensures future development, improve housing alternatives. I just think that with them being able to capture those locations, I just think it can help existing and for potential for growth. But
Okay.
again, just my opinion.
Yes? I agree. It's a good one.
Agree with that.
Okay, so it looks like everybody's saying 1. Anybody else have any other thoughts on that? Yeah. It's a good conversation, because that's really how it's supposed to work, because everybody has a different perception of how this works, but the definitions behind the goal, that's where it goes. I really like that. Thank you. So we're going with a 1, and now we are at groundwater well service, the internal service fund program that is set aside. Really, this is for the rebuild and the replacement of the groundwater well equipment. So what do y'all think as far as land use goes in reference to the groundwater wells? What do y'all think?
I see 3 bubbles already.
Okay, you care to share?
Environmental stewards of the land, ensures that we're gonna have water at, what's that, 7 o'clock? 5 o'clock, ensures future development. Without the water wells, we don't have water. So it keeps our sustainable growth guide going. So water is the key to everything, really.
Okay. Anybody else? So Jerry, what score would you give that then?
3.
Okay. What do the rest of y'all think?
Okay with 3.
Okay, everybody? All right. The next one's the lift station 34, the generator and equipment upgrades. What do y'all think on that one for land use? This is utilities.
I gave it 1 based on ensures adequate infrastructure and tracks and serves the needs and potential new industries. I mean, that is our backup if anything fails for that entire system.
Okay,
It's mobile, but it serves all of them. I gave it a 1.
okay. Anybody else? What do y'all think?
I can do a 1.
A 1? Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. The next one is the lift station pump rebuild and replacement. In terms of land use, what do y'all think? Same thing? Or do you have anything else? 1? Everybody agree? Okay. The next one is the sewer collection rehab. In terms of land use, improve the integrity of the existing sewer mains and manholes to limit the impact and costs for the treatment of groundwater. What do y'all think on that? In terms of land use and the definitions given, what score would you give it?
I gave it a 1 for the same reason.
Okay. Is everybody okay with a 1? All right. Okay. Next one is the rebuilding of the Compton Drive effluent pumps.
Same thing, really.
Same thing.
Well,
Yeah, a lot of
on
this.
that.
Okay. The next one is the replace and rebuild of the Cooper Creek aerators.
Same thing.
Yeah, okay. The next one is the replacement truck for the Freightliner pump truck for utilities. In terms of land use, what do y'all think? It transports the biosolids to the regional drying facility.
I gave it a 1 for also the same reason.
Same reason?
It's part of that.
Okay, anybody else?
1's good.
1, all right, let's keep moving. The next one's the international dump truck,
0.
a 0. Anybody else? 0, okay. All right, the next one's the Meadows raw water basin sealing. A 1, for the same reason as the other ones up there, okay. The Cliff Drive intake pump. Land use, 1.
Same 1.
Seems like there's a pattern here, right? Okay. Pool grate replacement, this is the Parks and Rec. In terms of land use, what do y'all think on that one? 0. Okay. The athletic field lighting for the land use, what do y'all think?
0.
0. Okay, how about the replacement flooring? The vinyl flooring, 0, okay. Next one is the fire engine.
0.
For land use, 0. The next one is the Fire Station 3 driveway replacement. For land use, what do y'all think?
0.
0, okay. Online reporting software for the police, what do y'all think on that one?
0.
Okay. How about the vehicle replacements for the police? Okay. The operator equipment for the SWAT team, 0, okay. How about the fire department's ballistic? Okay, well, I might not need to speak so much. Okay, so Fire Station 2 remodel.
0.
0.
The trailer for the hazardous waste?
0.
Okay. And then the asphalt paver for land use? Okay. How about the pedestrian crossings?
0.
Okay. How about the maintenance building?
0.
0.
Okay. How about the other pedestrian crossing at Shepherd of the Hills? All right. How about the Meadows intake pumps?
I gave that
1. I've heard a lot, 1 is okay. And then, just for me being curious, same reason as the other utilities? Yeah, okay. Rebuild 2 Compton Drive influence, same thing? 1. Okay. International sledge truck, land use? 1. Okay. Compton Drive influent pumps, what do y'all think? 1. Okay. Portable generator? Okay. The truck?
0.
Okay. And the maintenance and revisions of the water tower?
1, I gave that for the same reason on the infrastructure.
The utility infrastructure? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, how about the Fire Station 4 construction? Land use? Did you say 0? 0? Does everybody agree with that?
Well, that's the one I was thinking of 4. Why would we have a new fire station if we're not growing? I mean, you just don't throw it out there just because. You know, there's development, look at all that development out there by Chateau. I mean, you know, there's all that stuff. And so there's a drive to get some more fire protection down that way. So I
Okay.
kind of argue with future growth, number 1.
So that would be a 1 from your standpoint?
Yeah.
Okay. What does anybody else think? I've heard a 1 and a 0. Given what Jerry just said, does that change anybody's? 0 and a 1 are pretty close, so what do y'all think? 0? 1? 1? Okay, it sounds like everybody's changing to a 1. That makes sense, okay.
It's a squeak, yeah.
Without this portable toilet, we could move.
We're back
around.
to the favorite one, the portable restroom.
We can move that all over the, we can move that all over the city to help with development.
Land use. So, what do y'all think? In terms of the definitions set before you, what do you think?
0.
0?
Sorry, Cindy, I tried.
And remember, we're scoring them in back to the results. It's not about monies
Cindy,
or
should I-
what gets
Should I take up a
funded.
donation and just get it over with? Private donations? Okay.
How about the replacement of the fire panels for the Parks and Rec? What do y'all think? Land use? Okay. We're busting this one out. All right, how about the replacement
0.
truck? Okay. Soccer goals? Snowplow?
0.
HEPA filters?
0.
0.
0.
0.
Traffic signal improvements is a 0? Okay. Water line rehab for the neighborhoods,
That's a 1 to me.
for the same reason? For the,
Helps with
yeah,
Growth.
yeah. How about the Spring Creek water mains?
Same
1? And then, the John Deere
0.
Gator?
0.
Okay. And then the Ford F-150?
0.
0.
Wow. It's like a record time.
Cindy's up.
All
Don't
right.
jinx it.
What happens when you feed us Chick-fil-A?
I know, that's pretty fantastic. Boy, did I mess up last time. Okay. Okay, the next one is the Parks, Open Space, and Recreation. Just give you a few minutes, there's not that many definitions. I'll give you a few minutes to read through those, and we will go forward. And that one is like the teal blue color. That's what you want to call it. Okay, looks like y'all are all ready to go. I'm tracking at 9:35. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, first one is the Chevrolet flatbed Public Works Department.
0.
0. How about utilities, the meter and infrastructure? Okay, what about the next one? Compton Drive flood protection. The water sewer, okay, 0. Groundwater well?
0.
Lift station 34, equipment and generator upgrade?
0.
Okay. The lift station pumps?
0.
Sewer collection rehab?
0.
How about the Compton Drive pumps?
0.
Okay. The Cooper Creek aerators? All right. And the Freightliner pump truck for the utilities? And the basin ceiling? 0.
Skip the dump truck.
Is everybody, did I skip something? The dump truck, I'm sorry.
It's a 0.
Okay. And then the water basin ceiling?
0.
0. All right. The Cliff
2.
Drive?
Oh, sorry.
0.
Okay. How about the pool grate replacement for the parks?
2.
2. And Michael, would you care to elaborate?
I'll go with the top level, which is designs and maintains, and then the first one to your left, which offers and supports diverse variety programs, leisure activity, provides things to do for residents and visitors alike.
Okay. All right. Does everybody agree with the 2? Any other comments? Okay. Moving on, the athletic field lighting?
2 for the
2.
same reason.
For same reason. How about the replacement flooring?
2 for the same reason.
How about the fire department's fire engine?
0.
0.
Okay. The next one's the Fire Station 3 driveway replacement,
0.
okay? And then the online software for the police? And then the vehicles?
0.
And then the SWAT operator equipment? And then the ballistic firefighter protection? Okay. Fire Station 2 remodel? The trailer paint? Okay. Asphalt paver?
0.
The next one is the pedestrian crossing?
0.
0. The maintenance building?
0.
Okay. 0 for the next pedestrian crossing. And then the Meadows intake pump? 0. Okay. And then the Compton Drive pumps? 0. Okay. And then the International Sludge Truck for utilities? Okay. And then the Compton Drive pumps for the utilities?
0.
And then the portable generator? 0. Okay. And then the utility truck? 0. How about the water tower at Walmart? 0. Fire Station 4? 0. Portable restroom? For the parks?
Yeah.
Clean, functional, attractive.
4.
4?
I gave it a 2, but
2?
2.
2?
2.
Okay. How
I
about,
thought this would have been our really.
I know.
I know, I should have been creative and
That we finished.
did a visual for this one. Okay. How about the fire panel for the Parks and Rec?
0.
The replacement truck? The janitorial staff? Okay,
I gave that a
I gave it a
1.
2.
2. And Michael, do you care to?
Sure. It's the same ones. It'd be the top one, which designs, maintains, and expands a variety of public areas such as plazas, outdoor spaces, parks, and recreation. Keep in mind, this truck is what's responsible for picking up and handling
All
all the waste
over.
disposal and trash, at all of our facilities.
Yes.
And the other one is the bubble to your left, which is offers and supports a diverse variety of recreation programs and leisure activities that provides things to do for residents and visitors alike. So those visitors, they're gonna want
Okay.
their trash picked up.
Yes.
Yep, two.
2?
Two's good with me.
I
Okay.
have a question
Mayor?
when we're doing the scoring.
Sure.
This topic has 4 bubbles. And if it meets 1 or 2, it's getting a score of 1 or 2. Others have 6 or 8 bubbles. And out of 8 bubbles, if it reaches 2 out of the 8, it gets a score of 2.
No, so you're right. That's a good question. So what should happen is, like for here, it's 1 out of 4, and so if it meets a majority, it gets a 4, a 3 or a 2 or a 1, how that goes. It doesn't necessarily mean if it just meets 1 bubble that it only gets a 1, because you can look at the definitions that support the goal, and in order of importance is the bubbles. So if you want to say, wait a minute, this meets 3 bubbles, and I think that it gets a 4 even though it has 5 or 6, and you think it meets that because of the definitions of those bubbles, that's up to you to give that score. So it doesn't necessarily mean, I'm going to give it a 1 because it supports 1 bubble. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it does make sense, but it seems like this way
Maybe
we've
that's
been
the-
doing the scoring,
Okay.
if it met 1, we
Yeah,
would.
you all need to straighten up and stop scoring that way.
Well, and truthfully, that depends entirely upon your reasoning. And so if one of you think it meets a 1, but the other one thinks it meets a 3, I'll typically try to ask why. And like some of you have been given really good responses to that. And then I will say, what is that score? Because it's entirely upon you, if the importance of what you think that bubble means.
Okay, Jamie, but we have been scoring it. If there's 1 bubble or 2 bubbles, we've been scoring a 1 or a 2. We haven't said, okay, out of 8, it meets 2 bubbles, so let's give it a 1, because there's 6 that it doesn't meet.
Okay, well, was that everybody's understanding? Is that what we've been doing, or? I'm sorry, I did not pick up on that, if that was the case.
That's not how I've done this a couple of times before, so.
I have too,
Yeah.
just when I'm listening to everybody.
Yeah, okay. I can understand why you were thinking that,
Even
yes.
if it fit in 1 bubble, but it was super important, we could have given it. a
Right.
higher score, so.
So for me personally, when I score this, to Larry's point, he's absolutely right. When I score, mine are not based on the number of bubbles.
Right.
Based on the priority of those bubbles. So if there's 8 choices and there's 2 that are relevant, it might actually be a 3 or a 4. And that's how I score it, not by the bubbles. But I just identified the bubbles for myself, so when we're talking about it, I know which ones specifically
I think this
are
one's
tied
been,
to
just
it.
been unique because it has the 4 bubbles.
Right.
Yeah, so, but you're right. I mean, you have to.
That makes
So
sense.
when I say 3 or 2, it's not based on the number of bubbles
Right.
for me personally.
The bubbles are a guide to separate, so, and it's a good time to stop and just talk about that, because if that was the understanding, it was really more of a matter of importance of the definitions, and that is entirely upon y'all. So it was a really good point of clarification. Does anybody need any
Well, we're not
additional
gonna start
information?
over at the
No,
beginning from last
no,
week.
mm-mm.
So let's
Yeah.
just keep going with that in
Okay.
mind.
All right, so the soccer goals, how about that? In terms of parks and open space.
To me, those are a 3, because without them, the kids don't have that open space to play in. It also develops that network and quality of life for the residents, because it gives them things to do. The only reason for me that it wasn't a 4 was it didn't quite reach all of the bubbles, but it was definitely a 3 to me.
Okay,
I'll agree with 3.
a 3. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is the snow plow for the
I
parks.
gotta say 0 on this one.
A 0. Does it meet any, no definitions? Okay. All
But
right.
wait a minute. I'm gonna
Yes.
argue on that one.
Okay.
Because it's a snow plow specifically for taking care of the parking lots at the Recplex and Community Center during snow events. So I'm gonna give it a 1.
Okay,
I think a 1 based on the top bubble.
Yeah, on the top, yeah.
a 1. Looks like everybody agrees. Does anybody else have anything else? Okay,
I don't think it meets all the qualifications of the top bubble, that's why I gave it a 0.
okay. So who all would give it a 1, just so I'm clear? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then zeros, about 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it a 1 then.
Okay,
How about the HEPA filters?
0.
0. And in terms of land use, how about the protective equipment and gear?
0.
0.
Okay. How about public work, traffic signal improvements for parks and open space?
0.
Okay. And water line for the neighborhoods, parks, open space, and recreation? 0. Anybody else have any other thoughts? Okay. How about the Spring Creek water mains?
0.
The John Deere Gator for the land use? And the Ford F-150?
0.
Everybody agree with that? Okay. Wow. That will conclude the parks and open space. The next one is tourism, and this one has quite a few definitions, so we'll give you a pause really quick so you can go through those.
Jamie, as I'm reading these, the bubble at 4 o'clock,
Okay?
I'm just raising the question where this would fit in a governing mindset versus a entrepreneurial mindset. I don't know that we're responsible to make sure there's a variety type of dining experiences and prices, are we? Do we have any influence over the variety and pricing of restaurants?
I would not say the variety, the only way we would have that would be through our economic development. However, the pricing and the variety, I would agree that we don't have control. But that would be based on our tourism and what our tourists really lean towards, so,
I guess I'm surprised, if dining's in there, then you would think lodging, right? Variety
Sure,
type of
yeah.
lodging and pricing. I just don't know how that bubble
well,
fits within
and you're right, so we don't have control over the pricing, we don't have control over the experience per se. So in that realm, we do not have that control.
But this isn't something that you came up with.
No.
This was put in here because that was the feedback from.
didn't say Jamie.
Yeah, yeah, and
I'm just
so,
raising the question.
Yeah,
Right.
And you're right. We
yes.
can't control that.
And this was a combination, so if I could visualize how we came up with this, it was kind of crazy, but it came together very well. So everybody was like, okay, here's tourism, here's what the community plan says about tourism. Now, how do we define those that best meet the needs of our city? And so we had this big board up there, and everybody was saying, okay, well, here's what I think, and here's what I think, and here's what we think. And so we narrowed it down to the best. And when I say we, the board was involved, the department heads were involved, but it was quite a lengthy ordeal, but they narrowed it down. So it was a lot of people coming up with definitions that they believed support tourism, and then it was a narrowing down to a few. Obviously, tourism has quite a few.
Okay.
But
maybe
yeah,
suggest-
I mean, I agree with you. I understand what
Maybe
you're
just-
saying.
Accommodations would be I guess that covers the lodging piece.
So
of
my
it,
guess
so
is
we
that
don't-
at the time overwhelmingly, people
Yeah.
would have liked to see more
More.
options for dining. And
More
then you look at all the
diversification.
things that go into being able to support that.
Yes.
And it's public works, and it's streets, and infrastructure, and water and sewer. And so maybe the wording's not so good.
Correct.
I think that was probably the feel at the time.
Right.
Because there were probably, when this was done, there weren't as many options as dining as there
And
is
that we
probably
only-
right now.
And it was
We
right
only
after the
issue
tornado.
licenses for pizza places
Yeah.
instead of, yeah.
Yeah, and it was right after the tornado, so I would say since then, we have come a long way with diversification. Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
Put it across with that 8 o'clock over there.
It would. I mean, we could always take it out and combine it. And we typically won't change these until after we go through and do a rehaul of the community plan. And then once that community plan is revitalized, then we'll go through that process again. If it changes, and then we'll go through this process again.
Okay.
But- Okay,
Jamie, can you help me just a little bit here?
I will try, sure.
Just keep me on track. I'm going to start with 11 o'clock provides a safe, straight up, what do you call that, noon, ensures the type and quality. 1 o'clock sustains the availability. 3 o'clock ensures the variety. And where I'm going with that is police, fire, sewer, and water. Those meet all 4 of those criteria for me. Am I on the right page or?
Well, what
pushing
I would
too far?
encourage you to do is to read the entire description of the bubble, because I think you're on the right track, but make sure it meets the full definition there. Because sometimes if you just read the first couple of words, or you don't get the full effect of what that definition is trying to say. Does that make sense to you? So as we go down through the capital, read those, and if it really applies, then certainly that's up to you.
Okay, like, for example, somebody down here was saying, I'll use the example of the landing, and I don't want to use my example as the landing as
Sure.
anybody. But they're putting a real high dollar Italian restaurant in there. So that
Sure.
clearly would give you some variety of dining, because we don't have a lot of level 2 type restaurants in town. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in that bubble. Does that make sense?
Sure, and just keep in mind, it's geared to the capital requests that are here
Sure.
rather than the overall, but that does make sense, because if you look at a point in time when we developed these definitions, if we went back and developed these same definitions now, to Mayor's point, I think they would be different. I would, because it was a point in time, our city had just come through a tornado, was still getting through that. And what Rod said made perfect sense, is if you look at it now versus then, it is a different picture, I would say.
Well, and I mean, I think if you look at it from an economic
Yeah.
development point of view, it's like on who are you going out and trying to bring into your community? And I think just that overarching sense of, let's don't bring in everything, fast food restaurants. Let's think more demographically about how we would, that you would have some cheaper alternatives, and then some mid-level, and then some, just like the new restaurant going in, the Italian one, so that there's a variety of different things, so that when you're thinking from an economic development perspective, it's like, who do we go out and encourage to bring, to come into our community, and what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Overabundance of one thing and not enough of something
But is
else.
that really a government issue? I mean, if we had 30 fast food restaurants that wanted to come to town, who's going to say, no, you can't? If they meet planning and zoning and the building requirements, I don't think it's up to,
I don't think we would tell them no.
No, we wouldn't, no, we wouldn't. But I'm talking about from a economic development, when you go out and say, we'd like for you to bring your business into the community or whatever.
The ones you go out to capture. And if you look at it if you bring it to my level, I'll look at it coffee shops. All we used to have years ago is Starbucks, which is great, Starbucks. But now you look around and there's a variety of different and unique coffee shops all around our city. So it's diversification, It may not be diversification in price point, but it is in what you get and how you obtain it. So, but to your point, if I'm reading you correctly, I don't think we would turn anybody away that met all the requirements that the city lays out. Yes, ma'am.
Just a comment here, the infrastructure that would serve a level 3 restaurant or fast food, I mean, it's going to depend on the size of the building and the size of system that you need. It would have nothing to do with what type of a restaurant. So,
That is a good
I mean,
point.
in fire, you're going to respond to a fire, whether it's at McDonald's or the new Italian restaurant. So I can kind of see where.
Jamie, didn't you also say we could sort of internally weight these various definitions how we want to? So
Yeah,
in other words, if we don't think that's really a factor in this, we can sort of
That's
just
it.
internally exclude it.
Absolutely.
For purposes of these specific
Yes.
requests, right?
and that's why I say that I'm the facilitator here, because it's been my experience throughout all this that I might interpret something completely different here than y'all would just merely based on what I do on a day-to-day basis. And so I think it's really, really important that I don't try to steer y'all in any direction. I am just merely a guide, because it's up to y'all to say, this makes sense to me and this doesn't, and here's why I'm going to give it this score. Because it's not about my opinion here, it's really about what you all believe.
Well, I think you have to go back to the scoring metrics here too, or the.
I agree.
What it's calling the grading criterion. It's, you know, does it, no influence, some
Yes.
degree? I mean, so I guess back to the last thing we were talking about, with the number of definitions. I mean, to me, it's not how many are up there, it's, just overall big picture, where do I think it falls on this, in this sort of grading scale? And so I think with respect to these specific requests, that's not gonna be a factor on any of these, but I don't think that's gonna take me from a 3 to a 2 because I can't include that one. So I guess
Yeah.
for me personally.
That's the intent, sure. Thank you for that. Anybody else? It's really good conversation, actually. Thank you. What do y'all think? Y'all want to get started with the grading of the capital request? Okay. So for Public Works, we're going to start on the Chevrolet flatbed. What do y'all think in terms of tourism? Does it meet the needs of the tourism definitions? And if so, to what level?
I thought of 1.
1? Okay.
I also thought of 1.
It's the top
Placing the street
left.
maintenance department.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
In
Because
particular.
it's snow removal. No, because it's snow removal, I thought it provides a safe, attractive, well-planned environment for visitors and guests and ensures accessibility and allows ease in getting around. So
Okay.
I felt like it met that definition.
Yeah,
That
sure.
was the one I thought it fit in as well.
Anybody else have anything else to add? Okay, so let's give it a 1. Next one is the AMI, the Advanced Metering Infrastructure. What do y'all think? And in terms of tourism and the definitions given, at what level would you rate this?
0 for me.
A 0?
0.
Okay. How about the Compton Drive flood protection? In terms of tourism and the definitions, what do y'all think?
It's got to be up there. Without the wall, we don't have tourists.
In terms of the definitions, how would you rate that?
Provides safe, ensures, same drill. It'll take that concern point out of our planning process in the future.
So the safe, attractive, and well-planned environmental for visitors and guests, is that the one?
And it'll even support the convention center,
I gave it 1.
Okay.
Based on that one. Supports the convention center and other meeting facilities that serves as an economic driver, adding the economic health of the city.
Okay.
That was the.
So are y'all still at a 1, or what do you think?
1 for me.
1? Michael, you too? Jerry, what do you think?
Well, I see 11 o'clock, safe, attractive, well-planned environment for visitors and guests ensures accessibility.
So in terms of that, what score would you give it?
I'd give it a 2.
A 2? Anybody else? We have ones and twos.
I'm actually fine with the two.
A
If you
two,
look at the definition, program has some degree of influence on achieving the result, so.
okay,
Jerry talked me into a 2 also.
a two. Does everybody else agree with a two?
I'll go with
I'm
it.
okay with the two.
Okay. All right, next one is the water system GPS unit. In terms of tourism, what do y'all think? Zero. Anybody else? Zero. Seems like everybody's giving it that. Okay, the groundwater well. In terms of tourism,
This one's weird, because
It is.
I mean, it's a zero for me, because I don't think it meets any of these definitions. But it's one of these that without some of these infrastructure things, our sort of tourism industry as a whole is affected. So I think again, and I said this last time, based on what's before us, the definitions we've been given, I've got to personally give it a zero, but
okay?
which is, to me, it's kind of tough on this one, because I do think this affects tourism. It just doesn't fit in these definitions.
Sure. And it kind of goes back to what the mayor said a little bit earlier about the definitions. So I think that's a good point. I think it's important that we stick to the definitions given, however, until we're able to upgrade or renew that process. And the reason why I think that is because these came from the community plan, which came from the citizens' input. So we'll eventually get to do that process again and probably get different and new ideas from that, but that's why I think it's important to stick to what's written so that we make sure and go back to the citizens' input.
Zero for me.
Okay. Okay, how about the next one, the lift station 34 equipment and generator upgrade?
I gave that one a 1 for the same reason we did the truck above, as it relates to the convention center, meeting facilities it serves, and economic driver adding to the economic health of the city.
Okay,
I gave that a 1.
a 1. Does anybody else think anything different?
Go with a 1.
A 1? Pam, 1? Everybody a 1? Okay. All right, how about the lift station pumps?
Same for me on that one.
A 1? Okay, seems like there's going to be a pattern. Okay, so sewer collection rehab on this, tourism, what do y'all think? Same thing? A 1?
1s.
How about the Compton effluent pumps?
1.
1? Cooper Creek aerators?
1.
1? Okay. How about the Freightliner pump trucks? For the same reason, 1? Everybody agree? Okay. How about the international dump truck? 0. Does everyone agree with a 0? 0. Okay. How about the water basin ceiling? Yeah. In terms of tourism, you gave it a 1, Jamie a 1, Stan a 1. Anybody else?
1.
Mayor's 1, Ruth 1, okay. How about the Cliff Drive intake pump?
1.
1, okay. How about the pool grate replacement for the Parks and Rec? In terms of tourism, what do y'all think?
Well, the tourists use that facility, so gotta have some influence.
So in terms of the definitions, what would you give it?
1.
A 1?
I thought it promotes Branson brand, continually expands beyond entertainment, it celebrates its outdoor recreation opportunities.
Okay,
I'm leaning towards a 2 on that.
a 2?
I'm a 2.
Stan and Jamie are both 2s.
I'm a 2.
Okay, so it looks like 2s. Everybody agree with the 2? How about the athletic lighting? The athletic field lightings.
Be the same 2.
That was a 3 for me because it
Oh,
helps with so much tourism and attracts so many for our sports marketing.
Okay, so in terms of the definitions, we want a 3 and a 2. I've heard that. What do y'all think?
3.
3? Majority for 3? Okay. And then we have the replacement flooring for the Recplex, the vinyl flooring in the lobby and the hallway. In terms of tourism, what do y'all think?
I gave it a 2 for the same reasons that Stan just identified.
Okay. Ruth gave it a 2, Michael gave it a 2. It looks like everybody's a 2. Okay.
Hey, real quick,
Yeah.
on the bubble there, on the floor, it's promotes Branson's brand, and I'm gonna say we are a quality brand. Does that mean anything? Like if, looking at your front entry, you know, like you guys just did your carpet out here, and it's just very attractive to the
Good
people
point.
that come in.
Good point.
So would that fall into the one category?
Well, that depends on what you think. So, as far as Branson's brand, I would obviously clean, good quality. If that's what you're thinking, I would agree with that certainly. So,
That's our goal.
okay. So you think, so what are you thinking about giving it here? What do you think on this one?
I'm good with 2. But
Okay.
Is that my thinking sort of right?
Well, yeah, I think so. Branson's brand is more than just clean and good quality, but it's certainly a part of that, I would say. So if that's where your thought process is, I think that's right on. How about the fire engine for the fire station? What do you think in terms of tourism and the definitions given? What would you give that? What level?
It's at least a safe, attractive, and well-planned environment.
Okay,
I'd give it a 1.
a 1?
Well, does it also support the convention center?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you would say it has some influence over achieving that goal? Okay, so does everybody agree with that? 1?
I could do a 1.
1? Okay, 1 it is, let's keep moving. Fire Station 3, driveway replacement. In terms of tourism, what are your thoughts?
I think it's 0, but.
Okay,
The only one would be, again, back to the Branson brand.
okay. Quality, good quality.
Yeah.
Safe and attractive, but
I can go either way.
Stan, what'd you say?
I'm sorry.
I thought you raised your hand for a 1 or
No, I was
something.
scratching my eye.
Oh, sorry. Okay, what do y'all think? What score?
It's a 0 for me.
0?
0 for me.
Okay, looks like 0 on that one. Okay, how about the online software for the police department?
0.
0.
What about the patrol vehicles? For
Give that a
tourism?
I gave it a 1, same as the fire truck.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that one? Okay. How about the SWAT operator equipment for the police department? In terms of tourism and the definitions, what do you think?
0.
0.
I see a lot of zeros there, okay. How about the ballistic protection for the firefighters here? What do y'all think?
0.
Okay. Fire Station 2 remodel?
0.
Everybody agree with that one? Okay. How about the trailer for the hazardous material?
Gave that
A
a 1.
1?
Provides a safe and attractive and well-planned environment for visitors and guests that ensures accessibility and allows ease in getting around. This is for the asphalt paver to maintain our streets.
This is the hazardous material trip.
The hazardous
Oh,
trailer?
I was on the wrong trailer.
Okay.
I'll retract that.
gonna sell that.
Sorry,
I was like, wow, this is gonna be
I'm off of
interesting.
sorry.
I was not following.
Sorry.
Okay, so with that being said, what score y'all think on the trailer? Okay.
0.
Next one is the asphalt paver.
Okay,
Okay,
ditto what I just,
okay.
I'll join Mike with a 2.
A 2, Michael?
I
2?
said a 1, but
A 1?
I think it's a 2.
It could be a 2.
Provides higher quality repair to the streets.
Okay, so 2, Stan, 2, Ruth, 2. Okay, looks like 2s have it. All right, so the pedestrian crossings, we have 2 of these. This one's at the Presleys. What do y'all think?
I thought those were a 2 or a 3 because they
Gave that a 2.
definitely,
I'd say it's,
they help get around in the community in a safe way.
Okay, so it provides a safe and attractive and well-planned environment for the visitors. What else?
Offers visitor services and facilities that are ethical, informative, and clear to tourists.
Okay,
Across
So
the
they can
street here.
clearly see.
Street
they can walk
crossings.
the street there, get
that makes
across.
sense.
2.
That's what I saw.
Sure. So 2. Okay. All right, so the next one is the maintenance building for the CID. 0. Okay. The next one is the other pedestrian crossing.
2.
Same
2.
thing.
2.
Okay. The Meadows intake pump for the utilities department. 0. Couple of zeros so far.
Yep.
I want to make sure everybody has time. Does everybody think a 0?
On the other pages prior to, weren't we consistent with a 1 on
One,
those?
yeah, we were given the same type things one a
Oh.
while ago.
So what do y'all think? 1?
Trying to be at least.
Yes. In terms of tourism, Compton, the intake pumps. 1,
yeah.
Stan says 1,
That's-
everybody says
you're right.
1 now. That's up to y'all, so yes, okay, if you want a 1, there you go. Okay, Compton drive pumps,
One,
for the same reasons.
same reasons.
Okay, how about the sludge truck for the utilities department?
1.
1, okay. How about the Compton drive pumps, the rebuild? The 1, okay. How about the portable generator?
1.
Okay. How about the Ford F-350 utility truck? 0. A 0? Does everybody agree on that? Just make sure. Okay. All right. How about the water tower at Walmart?
I think it's a 2.
1 or 2,
because
yeah.
I
Could be a
think
2.
it is a landmark for tourists.
Sure.
I'd say 2.
And it represents us,
like
going back to the brand.
Okay, yeah. That's a good point.
2 is good, too.
2?
Yeah, sure, you
Yeah.
can't overlook it, for sure.
Okay, so that one's a 2. How about the Fire Station 4 construction? What do y'all think? As far as tourism goes?
I think it's a 2 for me because it helps keep people safe,
Okay.
which tourists want to be safe when they're here. It
I like
also,
that.
it also kind of ties into Branson's brand of, making something that is part of our family, protecting the family, protecting the folks that live here, as well as protecting your tourists. So it's a building that, it's going to offer services that are ethical and clean and all that good stuff. And
Okay, what
For me, it
score
was a
did you
2.
give it? A 2?
I'm good with a 2.
2.
Okay, everybody seems to agree on that. Okay, how about the portable restroom?
Fishermen would give it a 4.
yes,
And some joggers.
And some joggers.
I heard it's got holes in the floor. It's getting close to a 4.
So, what would y'all give it?
At least a 3.
I had 3.
Lots of
If
3.
there was a storm looming and it had to be moved, we'd all be giving it a 4.
Absolutely.
This is true.
That's true. 3 or 4? What do y'all think? Based on the definitions?
I like
3?
4.
4.
4.
4, okay. How about the fire panel replacement for the Recplex?
I would give it a 1 just because we have so many of our locals and tourists alike that use that facility. And so the safe part of that, I think, would fall under.
Okay. Does everybody agree with the 1? All right. The next one is the replacement truck for the Parks and Rec. This one is that janitorial truck that drives all over. So what do y'all think in terms of tourism
It's gotta be a 2.
and the definitions?
2 or a 3.
Okay,
3.
based on the definitions, I've heard several 3s and a couple 2s.
3.
Three's
Three.
fine. Three.
Okay, everybody agrees with 3 on that one. Okay, how about the soccer goals?
I was at a 3 on those as
I
well.
think it's a
By
3.
that.
3.
Okay. And then the snow plow.
I think it would have to be at least a 2, because again, it's for the parking lot at the Recplex and Community Center, and so, that is a big piece of our tourism for the games and stuff, so.
Okay. So the safe and attractive and well-planned environment. Okay, and you gave it a 2?
Well, 1 or 2, I mean, I don't think it's a 0.
I think it meets that bottom, the sports, the convention center, and other facility, or their meeting facilities that serve as an economic driver. So I know we have, it's not technically a meeting facility, but we have the volleyball tournaments. And
Brings in a
volleyball,
lot.
Basketball and different things come in.
That's for sure. Yeah. Okay, what would you give it, Cody?
I think it two's.
2? Everybody, 2? Okay. All right, the next one is the HEPA filters for the police department.
0.
0. How about the protective gear?
0.
0.
And the traffic signal improvements on tourism, what do y'all think on that one?
I think it adds a little safe and attractive. I'll go 1.
I gave it a 1.
Everybody seems to be a 1 on that. Okay, and then the water line rehab for the neighborhoods. As far as tourism and the definitions given, what do y'all think?
I'd say 0 because it's neighborhoods, not commercial.
Okay. Does it meet any of the definitions provided?
I mean, presumably, these are all connected to water lines that would tie into water lines affecting tourist-type facilities, so, I mean, as I understand, it's all a connected system, so I think you could,
I gave it a 1 also, along with kind of what Cody
1.
was saying.
was what I was gonna say.
Because we do have, in neighborhoods, we do have the nightly rental that it's supporting as well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, the 1.
1, okay. How about the Spring Creek water mains?
1 for the same.
Same purpose? The next one is the John Deere Gator. 0?
0.
And then the next one is the Ford F-150.
0.
Okay. That completes tourism. Okay, so transportation. Transportation goals, there's about 5 of the different definitions to support transportation. I'll give you just a few minutes to look over that. Just remember, there's fruit and there's biscuits and stuff like that, if anybody just wants to grab something else. Real quickly, the transportation plans and builds a strong comprehensive street network that manages traffic congestion, provides a clear alternative routes, and is well-maintained. That's just one of many, ensures walking and biking is practicable, safe and enjoyable for the visitors, etc. Okay, are y'all ready to get going? Okay, so the transportation, the flatbed for the public works. In regards to the transportation and the definitions given, what, if any, results does it achieve?
I gave that a 1 for the top, because because it'll be fitted with a snowplow and it maintains our streets.
Sure.
So the top bubble, and actually it could apply to the bottom right, safe and convenient, efficient public transportation systems.
Okay, so do you think it has some influence or
do.
strong influence or?
I gave it a 1, I'd be
Yeah.
okay with more than that if
Okay,
people have.
any other thoughts?
I like 2.
I like 2, and since it has a snowplow, we'll put it over in the Parks and Rec parking lot. I'll go with a 2.
This one's
2?
for Public Works.
Yeah,
This one's Public Works,
2.
it says snowplow on
Okay.
the truck.
okay, it seems like everybody agrees with the 2. Anybody else have any other thoughts? Okay. How about, yeah, advanced metering for the utilities, the infrastructure? How does that meet the needs of the transportation and the definitions given? Does it have an influence? 0. Okay. And then the Compton Drive flood protection. How does that meet the need of transportation? A 0, all right. How about the water system GPS?
0.
Okay. How about the groundwater well? Does everybody agree with the 0?
Yep.
Okay. How about the lift station 34? Upgrades? 0? All right. How about the lift station pump rebuilds?
0.
Okay. Sewer collection rehab?
0.
Compton Drive pumps, the effluent pumps?
0.
Okay. How about the Cooper Creek aerators for transportation?
0.
The Freightliner pump truck for utilities, biosolids?
0.
Hey, could I throw a thought in there?
Sure?
That process reduced trucking on our streets a lot. I'm just wondering if that shouldn't be some kind of,
So what definition
like a
would it
line.
achieve?
you know, because it lowers the traffic on the street, so the cars don't have to negotiate around 50 trucks a day. Now it's like 5 trucks a week or whatever, you know. Just a thought, takes away the congestion off the street.
Okay, so what definition would you say that it applies to?
Helps the visitors navigate as efficiently and easily as possible. And it's part of the safe public, transportation system.
Okay,
It was a big leap forward.
okay, all right. So what would you give it, Jerry?
A 1.
A 1? Everybody else, what do y'all think? 0?
I'm still at a 0.
Everybody's at a 0, seems like, okay.
Failed the mission.
And then the next one, that was the Freightliner pump truck, the next one's the dump truck.
What about the Meadows raw water basin? Did we skip that?
That one's next.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm on 2230, does everybody
Okay,
agree?
I'm the one.
Just to make sure I'm not off, yeah, that's okay. The water basin ceiling, in terms of transportation and the definitions, what do y'all think?
0.
Okay? How about the Cliff Drive intake pump?
0.
And the next one is Parks and Rec, pool grate replacement.
0.
Okay, athletic field lighting,
0.
Does part of this, Cindy, would part of this be the light up the walking trails out there too? No. Okay, all right. I was trying to stretch it out. So 0.
okay. How about the flooring for the Recplex?
0.
0.
0. And the fire engine for the fire department for the number 4?
0.
Okay. And the fire station 3 driveway replacement?
0.
The online reporting software for the police?
0.
Patrol vehicles for the police?
0.
Okay. How about the SWAT operator equipment?
0.
0.
Ballistic protection?
Zero.
Okay. Fire Station 2 remodel?
Zero.
The hazardous material trailer?
Zero.
Asphalt paver?
Two,
For transportation?
Two.
I was at a 2 or a 3.
yeah, two or more for me. In fact,
Okay.
I actually like a three.
Rod says 3. Mayor says 3. Stan,
'Cause it-
3. Everybody's a
It
3.
doesn't just do streets, it can also help with the trails.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How about the pedestrian crossing? We've got 2 of these. This one's the Presley one.
two for me on that.
Anybody else? Does everyone agree with the 2?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The maintenance building for the CID.
0.
Zero.
Two,
Two.
Next one. The next one's the Meadows intake
0.
Zero.
and the Compton influent pumps
Zero.
and the international sledge truck
Zero.
and the rebuild of the Compton Drive influent pumps
Zero.
and the portable generator for utilities.
Zero.
How about the Ford F-350 utility truck?
Zero.
Walmart water tower?
0.
Fire Station 4 construction?
Zero.
Okay, portable restroom. It's
Four.
always my stopping point. For transportation, and it's a portable restroom, what do y'all think?
Oh, it's on wheels.
There you go.
It's on wheels. We can go for that.
I gotta tell y'all are on a roll, and then we get to this one, and it's fun.
What'd you call it?
Do what?
What'd you call it?
Portable restroom. Okay, so what'd y'all give it? 0. About the replacement fire panel?
0.
Mercy. Sorry. Next one is the replacement truck number 38 for the Parks and Rec, the janitorial truck. Okay. How about the soccer goals for transportation?
Zero.
Snowplow,
Zero.
HEPA filters?
Zero.
We go back to the snowplow.
Sure.
I gave it
Cindy,
a
would
1.
that clear like the walking trails there along? So, yeah. So I go 1 on that.
A 1. Knowing that, does that change it for everybody else for the snowplows?
Say a one.
I'll go one.
Okay. How about the protective gear?
0.
Zero.
Public Works traffic signal improvements. What do y'all think on this one?
two or
For
more.
transportation?
3.
3?
3.
I hear a bunch of 3s. What do y'all think? Everybody else agree with the 3? Okay. And then the water line rehab for the neighborhoods? Okay, and Spring Creek water mains?
Zero.
John Deere Gator?
Zero.
And then the Ford F-150?
Zero.
Okay. That concludes transportation. Now, that concludes all your community results. Y'all want to take a quick break?
Yes.
Okay. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll tackle the governance.
My office is up in Branson, kind of by the Hampton Inn. I do estate planning.
Is it up there? It is. That's so I know who I am.
swells.
Somebody's empty.
These were always in like fishing baskets, and all of a sudden, it's shallow and narrow in water, you've got big swells and waves coming in.
Are y'all ready to go? Everybody? Okay. So I wanted to explain the importance of the governance results. Community results are used to differentiate the programs offered to the community. Governance results, and you'll see different capital requests on here that go towards the governance results, and they are used to differentiate programs designed to perform, to support governance. And so the governance results, it's got one results maps, but it's broken down into communication, decision-making, mitigate risk, productive workforce, resources, and transparency. Okay, so like communication provides responsive and accountable leadership. So this one's done just a tad bit different because it's governance. Those other ones meet the needs of the community, public safety, transportation, parks and rec, tourism. This one is more specifically geared towards governance. So more along the lines of, so, you know, like you've got the finance department, you've got the IT department, you've got the HR department, all of these internal departments that go to support and meet the needs of the governance may not meet the needs, so to speak, of the outside community. But in the governance roles, you look for communication, you look for decision-making, you look for productive workforce, you look for transparency. And so all of those, each one of those are a different bubble. So communication is the one we're on. You'll see less capital requests on these. However, communication provides responsive and accountable leadership, advances city interests through regional partnerships, and facilitates timely and effective two-way communication and community engagement. And so you see about 8 or 9 of these capital requests here. So the scoring is still the same. 0 has absolutely no influence on the definition, the capital request. And obviously a 4 achieves the definition at the strongest level. So when we're talking about that, the first one we have is the financial and operational transparency platform. And this is the IT department requested that. And the program description is governmental operations and budgeting software to increase transparency and report capabilities to city staff for decision-making and public using real-time data via an online portal. So this is a software for transparency that would be out on the web, and it would be for all use. And so in terms of the definition, provides responsive and accountable leadership, advances city interests through regional partnerships, and facilitates timely and effective two-way communication and community engagement. What relevance would you place on that capital request?
4.
A 4.
4.
4, okay. Does everybody agree with a 4? The next one is the Cisco Call Manager upgrade, required upgrade to the telephone system due to an end-life support for existing server. What level does that achieve for communication as far as our phone systems and upgrading that and making it more efficient? Do you think it has a strong influence on communication or little to none?
Is this the internal phone system here at City Hall?
Yes.
It's not like getting a new phone, it's the server side of it, right?
Right, it's internal and external. So it's for internal calls and of course to make external and receive internal calls
So
from the outside.
our citizens
Right,
call on
yes.
this right here, so I think it's pretty
Most
important
definitely.
for
Yeah, it routes through it.
transparency. Yeah.
So for communication purposes, what would y'all give that?
Well, Chad, what's the give us a little history, if you would. The status of our existing system, I mean, it works, right? You call City Hall and somebody answers.
It does, yeah. We currently have a Cisco phone system that we put in about 5, 6 years, probably 6 years ago now. And so with those systems, it has several components, but the main one is the back-end server. And that server has to have support patches, and the software has to be maintained. Well, Cisco's going end of support on that at the end of next year, I believe. And so we have to upgrade the server or replace the server with a different platform. And so this is to upgrade that server, assuming we stay with that platform. But we'll look at all cost options and, figure out the best way forward.
So Cisco's still providing the service on this until the end of '22, is that right?
Correct. Yeah, or it might be the beginning of '23, but again, it takes several months to replace
Sure.
those, so we're trying to play ahead, right?
So in terms of communication for the phone system, what do y'all think?
I think it's a 3 at least.
Okay,
I said a 4.
4.
3 or 4?
I'd be good with 4 as well.
Everybody? So consensus is a 4?
4.
Okay. The next one is the Microsoft Server Data Center, the licensing. It's a licensing cost to upgrade all servers to the latest Microsoft platform. In terms of the communication definition, does it have a strong influence or no influence at all? What do y'all think?
Well, it also says it ensures future security patches and updates.
Yes.
And is required to keep the network secure. So,
Yes.
I mean, I would argue, just based on that, with everything going on, places being hacked and stuff like that.
For
I mean, it seems
communication?
Very important, so
Okay.
I would also say a 4 on this.
I would
Does
agree with
everybody
that.
agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. The next one is additional storage shelf. Facilitates additional storage capacity for the network storage for the server data. Capacity is currently around 75%, and this allows proper planning for future data storage needs. In terms of communication and the definition given, does it have a strong influence on communication? What do y'all think? Provides responsive and accountable leadership, advances city interests through regional partnerships, and facilitates timely and effective two-way communication and community engagement.
So is this actually it's a piece of equipment that is either housed here or off-site or someplace?
It is, yes. And the amount of data that we're generating is still pretty significant, as you'd expect, but we are trying to offload that to cloud-based solutions as much as possible. However, I'll tell you, if we get middle of the year and we run out of data, storage capacity, it's a problem.
Well, I
And so-
assume this would affect, like if somebody makes a sunshine request, for instance, that's where this data's coming from, is it's stored on this, right?
Depending on, often yes, but not exclusively. If it's something that's a sunshine request out of, say, the planning and development system, it might come out of that data storage. So it kind of depends on what the request is, but most often, if they're going to do that, it's in Laserfish, and that is stored in this system, and correct.
This is basically all of our records of our city.
It's a ton of data, and a lot of this is, we've got 50-plus servers that run off this, and so it's the data storage for those, various server components.
I'm struggling because in my opinion, it's a 4, but I can't get it to match many of these bubbles, so maybe it'll fall under another category.
Yeah, Jamie, I'm not mad. So the definition on the top of this page provides responsive.
Provides responsive, so each one of these, like communication
So we're
and
just looking at
decision-making,
this one
one bubble for
We
governance.
don't need to concern ourselves with these other.
We're gonna
bubbles.
go around, so like decision-making is just supports decision-making, that's a separate bubble, and productive workforce, so governance is done just a bit different, so you'll have one results maps, but each bubble you'll score against,
Individual.
because it's governance, yes.
we're not weighting this against all these, like.
No, you're weighting them against that one definition. And that's why we put the definition at the top of the page, because we kind of wanted to try and avoid the confusion. But certainly, there's less capital requests that apply to this, but they doesn't mean they're not as or more important. They're just different.
I get one say a 4 then.
4,
I'm a 4 as well, because
Okay.
it is responsive and accountable leadership. I mean, we've got to think ahead.
okay.
I'll go with 4.
Everybody agree with a 4? Okay. The next one is the Wi-Fi hardware upgrades. And in terms of communication, does this have a strong influence on achieving the communication result? Or does it have an influence at all? And if so, what do y'all think? What level?
It kind of meets all the above.
I think it's a 4 as well.
It's
A 4?
4.
Communication. Okay, information technology, this is IT department. Intrusion detection and prevention appliance. Implement enhanced security appliance to increase security and threat protection and to adhere to security's best practices. Project was funded in 2020, but was postponed due to the budget.
4.
So, 4. Public Works elevator upgrade for City Hall. This is the elevator maintenance contract. And how does that meet the needs of this communication definition? Is it a strong influence
0 for me.
or 0 or no influence whatsoever?
0, we have stairs.
Does everybody agree with a 0 on that one? Because I heard of several zeros, just trying to make sure. Okay, the next one is for Public Works, the controller upgrades, basically the HVAC system for City Hall. So in terms of the communication definition, how does this rate? Does it provide a strong influence to meet the needs of communication, or does it really not have an influence at all? It's HVAC for City Hall.
0 for me.
I would say 2, only because if your working staff is not operating in a comfortable range, their production goes away.
So I'm going to try to stay out of this one, because if I'm hot, you're right, Jeremy. If you're hot, you want to go find a cool place. But,
I'd say 2, because it has some degree. I mean, you know, it's not
okay, so provides responsive and accountable leadership, advances city interests through regional partnerships, and facilitates timely and effective two-way communication and community engagement.
I think it's 0.
A 0?
Yep.
Important to some of the IT equipment too, I mean, server rooms or.
Yes, I mean, yes and no. So we have a split system upstairs for a primary, and it will cool that room. However, we kind of designed it to be ancillary. In other words, it's in addition to the cooling that happens in the building. And so I guess the answer is yes, but we do have, as with most things in IT, redundancy.
So far we have zeros. Does anybody else have any other thoughts on that? 0? Okay. How about an ERP system? So the ERP system is basically an upgrade or a new operating system for the entire city. The ERP will serve as a resource for all departments with various functions for the city, including financial reporting, business liquor license, tourism tax, budgeting, purchasing, utility billing, HR, employee tracking, planning, reporting, GIS, accounts receivable, accounts payable, e-pay, P-card interface, fleet maintenance, payroll, timekeeping, capital asset tracking, code enforcement, as well as other functions. With the new ERP system, we would like to find one that includes a transparency software. So up here, we have a transparency software, but if we were able to find the ERP one that includes it, you wouldn't need to buy the separate one. However, how does that meet the needs of communication definition that we have just given to you?
4.
4, okay.
Responsive and accountable leadership,
Yeah.
transparency, yeah, that's 4.
Okay. The next one is a vehicle replacement for IT. This would replace a Chevy Colorado. The IT department currently operates with 2 vehicles, which is a logistical challenge when supporting all city departments. In terms of communication, how would this vehicle, does it have a strong influence to meet the needs of this communication definition, or really none at all? What are your thoughts on that?
Chad, is this used to, like, go out and service if there's, say, an issue at Directplex or with IT? Would you?
Correct. Yeah, we support many, many things all across the city, at all the buildings, and then we also have, PLCs and different things with utilities and water and wastewater. So, yeah, we're all over the place all day, every day.
Is this the SCADA one, the one for the SCADA?
There was some confusion with this request.
Okay.
And so we ended up with a hand-me-down vehicle that honestly had already been replaced. I just didn't realize that. Utilities let us use that, which gave us 3. And again, it was all in, we were just trying to make things work with what we had. And that just, it wasn't a vehicle we could drive. And so we ended up, giving it back, and it's now in the boneyard or wherever they take those things. And so we're using 2 vehicles, and we have an outdated Chevy, what is
Oh,
this?
what is that?
Trailblazer.
Trailblazer, yeah.
That I believe is a 2007. And so this would replace or enhance that if we can get just a little more use out of it, because 3 is really what we need to operate efficiently. But we're just trying to, we're trying to stay ahead of this because they're getting high miles on them, and, it's tough, though, because we have all these other requests that are, quite frankly, more important if we have to prioritize, but I know that's not the discussion right now.
And it's really a vehicle for IT to get around to support all departmental functions. Really, that's essentially what it is. So what do y'all think in terms of this vehicle? How would that help meet the needs of communication?
I know, in worst case scenario, they could just use Stan's vehicle, so. I would say a 3 on this.
I'm a 3 on
A
that.
3?
It's
Okay.
strong. This is probably the
Okay.
wrong time to ask this, but will
Yeah.
that be a lease vehicle?
Yes. Yes,
Use
it
a
would be.
patrol car, couldn't you? Turn the lights on and get there quicker.
Well, every time we borrow those, they frown on that. I don't know why.
Digital emergency.
Okay, so that takes care of communication on governance. The next one is in red, it's decision-making. And the definition that supports the decision-making, it supports decision-making with timely and accurate short-term and long-range analysis that enhances vision and planning. And so it's all of the same capital requests. So we'll go down through them again, but know that it's the decision-making definition that we are scoring on this one. So the first one is the transparency platform software. Does that meet the needs of assisting with decision-making? And if so, to what influence does that meet? A strong, none at all? What are your thoughts?
According to the description, it's to be used by city staff for decision-making. So, based on that, I guess I would give it a 4.
I'm a 4.
4.
4.
Okay, everybody a 4? The next one is this, the telephone, the Cisco call manager upgrade. It's the phone system upgrade. How does that meet the needs or the definitions of the decision-making? Does it have a strong influence, or what do you think?
I think it's a 4 because they're on end of life, so it's making timely and accurate short-term and long-range analysis. I think it just really fits that
Okay,
definition.
any other thoughts on that one?
I could agree with that.
Okay. Anybody else? Michael?
I was at a 3, but I would go with a 4.
Okay. Anybody else? 4, Jerry? Okay, seems like it's a 4. Okay, the next one is the Microsoft licensing upgrade.
4.
4 for decision-making. Okay. The next one is the storage, additional storage shelf, the one that we just talked about. So how would that help meet the needs of the definition of the decision-making?
4 for long-range analysis and enhanced vision and planning,
Okay.
in my opinion, sorry.
Does everyone agree with that, or does anybody have any other thoughts? Okay. The next one is Wi-Fi hardware upgrades. In terms of decision-making in the definition that set before you, what do you think? Does it have a strong influence or none at all? Or in between somewhere?
It's a 4.
A 4, okay. The intrusion detection and prevention appliance,
4.
4. How about the elevator upgrade? In terms of decision-making and the definition that supports decision-making with timely and accurate short-term and long-range analysis that enhances vision and planning, how does the elevator upgrade achieve those results?
1.
Okay. How about the HVAC system?
1.
1. How about the ERP, the total overall operating system?
4.
4, okay. How about the vehicle for IT, knowing that it supports all the departments, it helps take them from point A to point B to point C? What do y'all think? As far as decision-making goes, what do you think on that vehicle?
If it's not working, you don't get any decisions.
Well, it supports the IT department, so that's up to y'all. As far as decision-making goes, what do y'all think?
3 for me.
3 for Michael. Everybody? 3? Okay. Okay, that takes care of decision-making. The next one, same capital request. And that one, this one is the mitigation of risk. Okay, that definition is provides assurance of regulatory and policy compliance to minimize and mitigate risk. Okay, so again, the transparency platform software, to what level does it achieve, if any, to mitigate risk? The definition given.
4.
4.
4. Everybody agree with that? Okay. The next one is the telephone upgrades. As far as mitigating risk, provides assurance of regulatory and policy compliance to minimize and mitigate risk. Phone upgrades, what do you think?
0.
Does it achieve it? 0? Everybody says 0 on that? Okay, how about the Microsoft server updates? The licensing for Microsoft, the updates to maintain compliance there.
4.
Okay, does everybody agree with that? All right. The next one is the additional storage. In terms of mitigating risk, what are your thoughts on that? Does it achieve a strong influence? Or some, or none at all? What are your thoughts?
I'd say a 4.
It's a 4.
Does everyone agree? Michael,
Yeah, I agree with that.
were you going to say something else?
I was.
Feel
I
free.
wondered if we could go back up to the Cisco.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't want to stop. Are we finished?
No, it's
with
okay. Go right
this one?
ahead. Go right ahead.
I felt like that it did meet part of that. It provides assurance of, because when that expires, we're going to have to deal with it to meet the regulatory and policy compliance when that system is out.
That is true, and that's a good point.
And we gave it a 0.
So it does have an influence, is what you're saying.
I do, yeah. I
Okay.
feel like it does.
So is there any other discussion on that? Does anybody want to revisit or change what they thought originally based on what Michael said?
What score would you give?
The Cisco,
Probably a 2. at
Ruth
least.
said a 2.
We're going to have to deal with it, but
Chad, is that something, do we have to?
So what happens is, right, so with a lot of this stuff, we have PCI, we have compliance we have to maintain, we have CGIS compliance for police, and if we do not perform these updates, we're out of compliance. Will it continue to operate? Sometimes yes and sometimes no, but will we fail any audits or any, system security checks that they perform? We will. And there's repercussions to that.
I'll change, I didn't understand that. I apologize. I should have asked questions. I'd change my 0 to probably at least a 3 then, based on that.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
good with the 3.
3.
And that's the whole point of this discussion. It's really good conversation. So we'll go back up and we'll change the Cisco call on the mitigation of risk. We'll change it to 3. Does everybody agree with that? Okay. We are back on the additional storage unless I missed that. I think Jamie said 4. That's what I thought that y'all said. Okay. Okay, now we're at the Wi-Fi hardware upgrades to mitigate risk, and how does it meet those definitions? What are your thoughts?
Chad, would this be the same thing? I mean, do we have
Yeah, what we're talking about on this one is really, will it mitigate some risk? And maybe not. I mean, this is more to make us more productive because it's specific to outside City Hall and outside the core sites. We already have upgraded those at City Hall and the sites with more employees. So some of the outlying sites at the wastewater treatment plants, things like that, they don't have Wi-Fi at all, and this would be allowing that to happen.
It also says it's not going to be, existing software will not be supported after 2021 for both break, fix, and security vulnerability patches, so.
Forgot about that with some of these access points. You are correct. I'm sorry.
So we would be out of compliance
On
once these
some,
are.
there's a few, yes, there is a few, yes. Thank you for pointing that out. I forgot on those.
And so the definition is provides assurance of regulatory and policy compliance to
So
minimize and mitigate risk.
At that point, we'd either upgrade them or just take them out of service in those areas.
So with all that being said, any conversation? What are your thoughts on that? What kind of influence?
I think a 4. I mean, this is,
Okay.
you're hearing about this so much in the news right
Yes.
now. That
Okay.
I think security is very, very important.
Okay, and so the next one is the intrusion detection and prevention appliance. What do y'all think? Mitigate risk, certainly. Okay, the next one's the elevator upgrade.
Let me ask this. So if, kind of along the same lines as what Michael asked about, I mean, if the circuit board is no longer being produced and we can't, for continued safe and reliable service, I assume this elevator is used by the public as well,
Yes, it is.
and City Hall staff, so.
Yes.
So this has to be, this is handicap compliance, to have the elevator,
Yes.
so, I mean, it's gotta rate up there on this one.
Okay, so what would y'all say? 4? Yes, looks like everybody says that, okay. And then the HVAC system, as far as mitigate risk. What do y'all think on that one?
Are there any laws that says we have to provide heat and air for anyone?
Well, it depends on who you're talking to.
Honestly, as much as I would like to give you a 4 on this, because I know y'all need it, I think in this particular one, I just, it's a 0 or might be a 1, but I think it's probably a 0 on this,
And that's the important thing, is to make sure that it's the
for
definitions.
this particular.
So we don't bring, like me, I would have a bias in this one, so it's really important. That's why we have those
I
definitions
guess, I mean,
there.
if there's no regulatory or policy
Yes,
compliance
right.
issue here, I'd say it's
Yeah.
a 0 for me as well.
Okay, okay.
It may be a higher score next year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it says in the next 2 years.
Well, that's true. They go out and we're all sloppy, sweaty mess.
I
but-
think it'll rise on productive workforce on the next page. We'll cover it there.
Okay, so the next one is the ERP, or the total operating system for the city. As far as mitigation of risk, provides assurance of regulatory and policy compliance to minimize and mitigate risk. What are your thoughts on that one?
4.
4?
I'd
Okay,
give it 5 if there was a 5 on there.
okay. And the next one is the vehicle replacement for IT. Remember, this will serve to get them around to all departments. So what do you think, as far as mitigation of risk, provides assurance of regulatory policy compliance to minimize and mitigate risk?
I think there's, it's kind of back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, if they're gonna have to travel to these places and make sure stuff is functioning correctly and operating properly, I mean, I don't know if it's a 4.
3 for me.
Yeah, I'd say a 3 probably.
3, okay? Okay, so that's mitigation of risk. The next one is productive workforce.
Now we're getting somewhere.
So productive workforce attracts, motivates, develops, and retains a high-quality, engaged, and productive workforce. So with that being said, how about the transparency software? Strong influence or no influence or somewhere in between? What are your thoughts on that capital request achieving the productive workforce definition for governance?
4.
4. Okay. How about the phone upgrade?
I think it's a 4. You gotta have phones.
Gotta have 4.
You gotta have them.
Okay. Okay, the Microsoft Server Data Center licensing,
Gotta be a 4.
4.
okay?
So that meets the definition that we're looking at, right?
Yes, only this definition for
Attracts,
productive
motivates,
workforce.
Develops and retains a
High quality.
engaged and productive workforce.
Yes,
I'm just asking that.
Well, if you don't have Microsoft Server, you don't have a workforce.
Well,
and you can, engaging and keeping and those kind of things are all
I
important.
know I
so.
wouldn't wanna work somewhere.
right, that's why I was asking the
couldn't-
question.
Yeah, it's a good discussion, sure. So the additional storage, the last one, just so y'all are aware, for the Microsoft, I've got a 4, is that correct? I just want to make sure. Okay, and so the additional storage for the productive workforce, the definition for the additional storage, what do y'all think on that as far as that definition goes? Does it have a strong influence? Some or none at all? What are your thoughts?
Well, if you run out of capacity for storage, that's gonna impact every single person here and what they're able, to and the ability to do their jobs, right? So, I mean,
I would assume so.
it's gonna shut down, right? I mean,
Correct.
that's what happens when you run out. So that affects police, that
Yes.
affects fire,
Entire city.
the entire city. So I would say it's probably pretty important.
Okay.
4.
Everybody agree with that or other thoughts? Okay. The next one is the Wi-Fi hardware upgrades. In terms of productive workforce, what do y'all think?
That's a 4 for me.
4.
Everybody agree? Okay. The next one is the intrusion detected and prevention appliance.
4.
Okay. The next one is the elevator upgrade. Productive workforce. What'd you say? Did you say something?
I think on this one, it's probably a 3.
Okay,
This is just internal workforce. This isn't our citizens that come
right,
in.
this is yes, this is for us to maintain. So does everybody agree on a 3 on that one, or do y'all have other thoughts? 3? Okay. Okay, the next one is the HVAC.
I'm a 4 on that one.
4.
I could see a 4.
4, okay. The next one is the ERP, the total operating system.
4.
Okay. And the next one is that vehicle replacement for IT.
3.
3?
3.
3? Okay. All right. That concludes productive workforce. Okay, so the next one is resources. Protects, manages, optimizes, and invests in its human, financial, physical, and technology resources. So knowing that definition, so, right. So the first one is a 4, or what y'all saying? Okay. All right. So the next one is the phone upgrade system.
4.
Okay. And the next one. Okay.
4.
And so on.
4.
Wi-Fi.
4.
Okay.
4.
The intrusion, the security appliance. 4. How about the elevator?
I think it's a 4. It's investing, it's protecting, managing, optimizing, and then, in your physical resources. I mean, so, I mean, that's.
4?
Yes, 4.
Everybody agree on that? Okay. How about the HVAC?
I'm gonna give it a 4 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Four.
How about the operating ERP system? And the vehicle?
3.
Sorry, Chad.
The next one is
such a roll.
transparency.
You're on your bike.
And if you could clear the snow at the recplex, that'd be great.
Get right on that. Thank you.
The next one, and the last of the governance is transparency. Develops sustainable fiscal and operational policies and fosters trust and transparency by ensuring accountability, efficiency, integrity, innovation, and responsiveness in all operations. So the first one is the transparency platform.
4.
Okay, the next one is the phone system. Okay, the next one is the Microsoft upgrade. And the additional storage. How about the Wi-Fi?
4.
The intrusion, the security,
4.
okay? Elevator upgrade, as far as transparency, what do y'all think?
I would say 0.
0.
Okay? And the HVAC,
0.
okay? And how about the ERP operating system?
4.
And the vehicle?
3.
Okay,
Can we go back to the elevator again?
yes.
Sorry.
For transparency? No, that's
Yes,
okay.
let's-
That's what this is
Let's
for.
go through that, yeah, okay. I'm going down through, it ensures accountability, efficiency, integrity, innovation, and responsiveness. Is that right?
Yes.
In all operations. All operations. So, just thinking of the elevators, part of our operations.
Okay,
So I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there for discussion.
so what would you
Accountability.
give it?
Stan, what do you think on that?
My thing always, that I always go back to is that elevator, yeah, it hauls a lot of people, it hauls a lot of equipment that we bring into City Hall to make it function up to the IT department. And then secondly, I look at the ADA side of this. When our citizens that are handicapped come into the building, if they're not specifically doing business on the middle floor here, we have to have an elevator to get them up and down. So
Yeah,
I had it scored as a 2.
I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think based on that, you gotta be able to get people to other parts of the building if, if they need to, and so.
And is that really based off of the responsiveness in all operations, or
I don't
from
think-
that
That's what I was
definition?
Trying to ask if anyone felt like it met that criteria in terms of policies and fosters. Is that the one we're on? Yeah. And accountability, ensuring accountability.
I mean, you may have a citizen that wants to go up and
innovation,
yell at Chad.
Responsiveness in all operations.
And that's totally up to you. That's what this is for. So if y'all want to change your score based on that presentation, what are your thoughts? A
I'd
2?
change it.
2 for me, but
Does everybody agree?
2's good.
Okay. So we're going to go back up to the elevator and put a 2 there. All right. Okay, so that concludes the governance results, and so now we have those all scored. Typically, the next section, sometimes we get to it, and honestly, sometimes we don't, because it's more law-driven. So the mandate, the population served, is going to be a little bit different. So basically, the last piece of this is it mandated? If so, to what level?
Which one are we on? I'm sorry.
We are, so here, it doesn't have mapping. It does not have results here.
Does it say demand on top?
It says BPA. Demand, yes, is one of them.
Oh, demand, okay.
And honestly, this one is one that is really geared towards the departments. And so we typically, if we don't get to these, we just don't, because departments will tell us, does it have a mandate? So for example, if we're looking at mandate, is this particular capital request, is it mandated? And by mandated, it means by some type of law. And if it is mandated, then it is to what level is it mandated? So this group here might not know to what level it's mandated, because it could be a federal law, it could be a state law, it could be a city law, it could be a best practice. And that's why typically we don't go through those up here, but I just wanted to show them to you. If you all wanted to go down through them and look at them and offer input, that is totally okay too. But I brought them out here just so that we could have this discussion, and that would be up to y'all. But a lot of those, it would be, so like if a department scores these and they tell me that it's a 4, then my response to them would be, okay, if it's a 4 for mandate, that means it meets a state or federal law. Can you please provide the law that this capital request would meet for me, so that we would have backup? Does that make sense? And so we started off doing these, but it became a challenge because sometimes y'all aren't gonna know if it's a state or federal law. That's for the departments and their expertise. So I wanted to bring this before you today just to show this to you, just to provide some discussion. So, you know, there's also another one. These are called basic program attributes. And so there's another one that's called population serve. And so then you look at what portion of the population is served. So is the financial transparency software, I'll just use that one as an example. Is it served, does it serve the entire population or a very small portion of the population? And so we can go down through some of those if you want to. That's why I brought them for you, so that you would see the entire piece of it. But if not, that's something that doesn't always get scored by this group, because sometimes it's not something that this group knows. It would be specific to departments.
So I think going forward, I remember this took a lot of
Yes,
time.
yes.
Trying to figure out.
It
We
is.
were doing it
Yes.
before we got here, trying to figure out, well, I don't
Yes.
know whether it's a state law or not.
And that's why typically,
But
yes.
I think it would be interesting, like, when you had your team score, I'd like to see, so I would know which
Okay.
one of them is probably, which one of them is mandated by state or
Yes.
federal, and what population
Yes.
served. I just think it would be interesting for us,
Sure.
and I think it would help us on this committee if we understood that as well.
And that's a really good point. And so typically when they turn them into us, they are all supposed to be scored by them already. We do not, for most of this process, we do not show you their scores, because we want it to come from y'all so that there's not a bias. And so then we compare the two. But for this one, I completely understand why you would want to, because it's not something that maybe y'all know that you would want to know. So we will send those scores out to y'all so that y'all can have that information. And maybe at the next finance committee, if you have any questions or discussion on these, we can talk about it, because there's a lot of good discussion here. And a majority of the mandates, most of them that we see are really just a best practice. Best practices are important because it maintains a higher level of service and those kind of things. And those typically best practices come from the associations that we're involved with that are nationwide. So just some feedback on that. But yeah, I think that's important. And so what we'll do today is we'll get together the scores for the basic program attributes, and we'll send them out, but it probably won't be something that we'll compare and contrast like we've done with all the rest of them.
Well, I can remember like going through the Reliance one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when we discovered, it would be better like to lease our vehicles.
That's
through
right.
That whole process.
Exactly.
It was more cost effective to do
Yes.
releases for the police vehicles and stuff. And so, and then we talked, there was several of them that we were able to contract out.
That's
that
right.
would save some costs. So it's just interesting. I think, and it's good stuff for us.
Sure. One of the very first ones was really interesting on that. It was the police department, and I think Stan was involved in this as well. It was contracting with the county to do the jail services. And that was one of the first changes that we made because we had so many expense line items to house the jailing here. And they got together and they presented it and they showed where it would be a cost savings, and it was a tremendous cost savings. So that came out of as a result of those kind of things. And it's, is it a public-public partnership? Is there a way to do a public-public partnership and to reduce our cost and still to provide that service at the same level or even a higher level? How about a public-private partnership? Is there a way to do that and still provide a same level or even a better level at a less reduced cost? So those are all the questions, that good discussions that come out of that. Some people have different opinions, and that's okay, but that's the whole point of the discussion, is to say what matters and what is more important. So yeah, we've seen it over the years. A lot of good things have come out of some of this. So yes, what I will do is we'll compile the scores that have already been given to us on the basic program attributes and send them to y'all, and y'all feel free to reach out and ask me any questions you want. No problem there. So that's what we'll do for this piece. Does anybody have, so that really concludes this. Does anybody have any other thing that y'all want to add regarding this?
I want to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
It's just for my information.
Absolutely.
On the mandate, I agree with what you just said. I'm trying to understand the mandate using the sales tax for the safety tax. So does that become a mandate, or is that a best practice?
The safety tax is one that was approved by the voters, and it is a law, so that would become a level 4 mandate.
Okay, so the fire station and the fire trucks, that kind of stuff.
Well,
Would have a
those
strong
are
mandate.
requests from that funding. Those aren't specifically mandates. The safety sales tax itself is a mandate.
Yes.
So the fire engine per se would not necessarily be a mandate. Now, Charlie and Ted, I'm looking at y'all because when you have one fire station, you have to equip it so much. Is there regulations that y'all have to use for that? There are. So that would become regulations at their level, at their standpoint. So at that point, for this one, it would become a level 2, a self-mandate or an ordinance. It's not a state or a federal mandate, but it's their regulatory mandate, so it would become a 2.
That would be for the truck in the station, but
If
not the
it's based on
station
their
itself.
regulations.
That's just
Not the
choice.
station itself, it's not a mandate per se, but then that discussion, in the past, we've had this exact discussion. So the discussion goes, what kind of results does it achieve? Does it achieve a cheaper, better ISO rating for the city? And if so, where do we go with that? So that's where
great.
that discussion has spun off too. So
Well, thank
really
you.
good discussions have come from them.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. Anybody else? Yeah, Michael.
Jamie, just for my edification, I guess, on this, in the past, maybe I've slept, I'm not sure, but we did, this committee or former committees, when it was capital and finance, did score population served, and we did score those.
And we have in the past, I don't believe we did last year, just because it, like Pam said, it was so time consuming, and
Right.
there were so many questions that came out of it as a result of, it's really more of the departmental expertise to answer those. But yes, we have, and we gave it a shot in the past, certainly, and that's totally up to
We
you.
had to rely on the department.
That's
to give
right.
us the
And each
information
department
market.
then.
And it was really the
spoke to-
departments telling y'all what it needed to be.
Right.
That's why they've already scored it. So it was really good discussions that came from it, not necessarily y'all's own score that came from it.
I think it'd be helpful to see that,
Right.
and then maybe figure out at our next meeting, do we want to
Sure,
discuss some of that?
yes,
But right now,
okay.
it feels like we're gonna be shooting in the dark.
So what we'll do this week is we will compile the department scores for this BPA, and then when I say BPA, it's basic program attributes. We'll send them to y'all, because our next finance committee, I believe, is on the 29th. And so we'll have that discussion briefly and see where y'all want to take that, okay? That way, we don't leave it out, but we still continue those discussions, because a lot of good things have come from those discussions alone. Okay, and so with that, I believe our scoring is done. The next steps will be, we are compiling our budget right now. We are also trying to get done the reevaluation for 2021. And so hopefully, in the next several weeks, what we will hope to have is numbers associated for you. And then remember, in September is when that big special meeting comes together with this group, the board, and we come together for those line item, those budget discussions. So we have several things going on in the next several weeks, so please feel free to reach out to me with whatever you have, whatever discussions have. But just know these things are coming, and we'll do our best to help accommodate anything that y'all want, okay?
So Jamie, when you do your reforecasting.
Yes, sir.
Will you present that to a board meeting or a study session?
That's a good question. I think when we did last year's, did we do a study session and a board meeting? I wanted to say we did, but I honestly can't remember. So I would say that would be whatever y'all wanted us to do.
A study session would be good, then we
Okay.
could have some more open dialogue.
Yeah, and so I'll be happy to do that during a study session. Okay?
Ruth, you okay with that?
Yes.
Jamie, you good?
Yeah, because that's how we did it last time.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes, that is it, unless y'all have anything else for me.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. We'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign? Thank you.
Thank y'all very